Good day, good love, great light. Teachers of teachers, masters. We are in the master's class. So today we remind ourselves that we came here to become the masters of limitation. And now we're moving into becoming the masters of integration. Thank you so much for being with me today. I'm Wendy, your host of Languages of Lights, celebrating my 9th year in this 9 year of 2025 of sharing all of the tools, the information, the downloads, the channelings, the light languages, everything that has been a part of my spiritual journey as I move into now this January into my 10th year of sharing my highest joys and excitements. This is my husband, Dave, who shares our highest joys and excitements together. We together, our highest intention is to live and give in the ways that vibrate as close to our highest inner excitements and that which we are excited to share with all of you. And that includes communication with the spirit world, with nature, with ourselves, first and foremost, knowing thyself more fully, and hoping that in our expression of this, that it invites all of you to become more curious about you and who you are in the world around us, and the questions that we all ask. Why am I here? What is this? How did I create this? How do I create my own reality? What are parallel realities? What are extraterrestrials? How does all this have to do with light language? That's exactly what I've been exploring. I don't have all the answers, but I enjoy exploring those answers. And I know that if you're participating in this in any way, and I want to thank all of you who are participating in any way in this now, whether you're joining us here in the room, thank you so much for bringing your joy and energy. And
let's begin with a light language blessing.
We'll start with a light language blessing. Shamija. Elizamara inte izamala unto korama iva mi apa ete sapankia sevisme ijo ujana akilizani ki itamemia lavisamate vesima ete vesha on that very cold January 16th of 2015 when I began this channel. It began in the woods. And here, in a sense, I'm full circle. Although I no longer live where I did then when I began. I am still surrounded, and even more so, by the woods, the forest, the trees. So the Council of Nine, just a big part of the energy and the inspiration for this event today. Thank you. Sometimes I'm at a loss for human words. So their expression and their connection to all of us, and especially in this year, is going to be a primary focus of this broadcast, this event, and the energies of how we can all utilize, amplify the energies of this 9 year, what it means to all of us collectively, socially. And when I say socially, I mean human, like the human social collective, and what it means to each of us in our ascension process, and what cycles each of us in our own spiritual journey, and in this life journey are completing in order to begin this something new. So there's a few things I know Dave wanted to share just about some tech stuff.
So today we're celebrating 9, which is the beginning of a 9 year, which is also representing completion. So congratulations on your completing 9 years of being on YouTube and expressing yourself and sharing with the world. Certainly, I would not have met you had you not done that.
This is true.
And we would not have met all of you and all of our, wonderful friends that we've met along the way. some of which we got to meet in person physically, which is always
Very
very
exciting.
exciting.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to the nine. And so I wanted to sort of bring this up first, and I made a little chart.
Well, first of
Show
all,
it.
I want to let everybody know too, if you're tuning in or you're just tuning in or you have no idea what's going on here, tell them how they can hang out with us.
Oh, in the live chat and in the description link below, there is a link which you could click on and fill out some information, and you could get a link directly to join us in Zoom if you want to participate. Anyone that comes online is more than welcome to come on video or just be on audio. If you have any questions, please raise your hand so we know that you want to speak at any point. So
Absolutely.
during the next hour or so, while we're doing this event, if you want to get the link, you could just click on the thing and
We're going
join
into
in.
going into the numbers, are we?
So
Okay.
yeah, so the number 9 and the year 2025 have a lot of mathematical significances. And of course, mathematics is also a reflection of our spirituality, and the awareness that we have of the mathematical aspects of it opens up more gates and doorways. But I just wanted to share with you some of the very interesting things about 2025 and how it relates to 9. So here's a little printout that I made. So the year 2025 is equal to the
He's a
sum
computer programmer, so
the sum of the numbers 1 through 9 squared. So when you add up all the numbers 1 through 9 and square them, you get 2025.
oh, right. Okay.
It's also equal to the numbers 1 through 9 cubed and added all together. So 1 cubed plus 2 cubed plus 3 cubed all the way
Okay.
to 9 equals 2025. These are all rare things. And you could look up on the internet numerically significant things and interesting things and mathematical things
I'm
about
looking at the paper, sorry.
2025 and the number. The square root of 2025 is equal to 45. 4 plus 5 is 9. So when you reduce 45, also it is 9. The normal way that we reduce numbers, 2025 equals 2 plus 2 plus 5. That
Equals
equals
9.
9. And an interesting something else I
Oh,
found
I
was
didn't realize that.
2025 is a tetrahedral year.
Here, let's show this again because just so you guys can see a little clearly what we're looking at here. So it's not so
So
quick.
a tetrahedral year represents 4 sides. So sort of the idea of now moving into 4th density is another reflection of the idea of 2025. And 2024 happened to be, I believe I think that was a square year. And exactly how they calculate what the year is, but apparently it is very unusual for a square year to be followed by a tetrahedral year.
Oh,
So
okay.
of course 2 squared is also 4.
Well, that seems very significant somehow in our own our own ascension, process.
So you're all excused from the math lesson from the rest of this video.
So yes, and actually we both do find this fascinating. And I've always been, in all the years that I've been sharing my excitement, part of it has been about repeating numbers, 1111, the numbers we see on the clock. These last few weeks have been 999, of course, because I'm seeing the 919, 929 on the clock. And then there's things that are related to the human collective consciousness related to that idea as well, which we'll share in just a moment. So on on December 12th, I knew I really wanted to do something to say, to share my gratitude about, and to YouTube and to all of you that I've met along the way who have just changed my life in more ways than I could ever really express. And so I really wanted to do this today. And then it was like the Council of Nine sort of, and I want to say just dropped in. And what do I mean by that? it was like all of a sudden I literally felt and this energy in here, the Council of Nine, and we are here and to assist the human collective consciousness in a new way to complete this cycle that you've been in. And I was reminded of my own full cycle. And if you guys, so a lot of, okay, most of what I share in is are the tools that I've learned through the Sasani civilization, through Bashar, channeled by Daryl Anka, from Elon, Andrew that channels Elon, and all of the other beings, as well as as well as so many other collective consciousnesses that I can't even really explain right now. But the Council of Nine has been along with us, all of us, because we as humans have designated nine to be to represent that. But it also, number nine also represents the powers of nine. And we'll get into that in a moment as well. And that's really kind of the gist of what this is all about, is the powers of nine and how it's related to us and in our physical reality, and who they are and why they're helping us and how they're helping us. And when I say they, the Council of Nine. And when I go back through my drawings that I have done for and writing galactic symbols for all these years, I noticed a pattern that every time the date, not every time, but maybe significant dates where the date equaled nine, they were there like with me, and I was writing symbols and like having a conversation with them. And again, when I say having conversations, it's like a telepathic conversation, but yet it's on so many levels that our language can't even really express, much like light languages. It's like it's like
Well, a conversation
many layers.
along with downloads of information that sort of unpack slowly.
Yes.
Sometimes, uh, as with many times downloads, you get it and you sort of know what it's about, but sometimes pieces unpack later in the day or next week. Or
Yes.
sometimes it's the next time it's a 9 day and you're thinking about it. And all of a sudden you're like, oh.
And that's actually kind of what happened was the day that so it was 12/12/2024, and it was in my mind, I see 3/3, and then the 2 for the 2024, and then the 12/12. So I'm seeing threes and threes and threes. And then it's like, there they are, telling me this is part of your genetic makeup. We are designed to do things in threes, in sixes, and nines. That's a pattern for us, and it's built into our DNA, if you will. And that's the easiest way to say it.
And we want to share this stuff with you because we know these are all similar things that you are probably also going through and want to understand and want to sort of, have direction with. So by sort of explaining, even Wendy talking about how she receives information, when she receives it, how she applies it, and sometimes, as you're spending more and more time being open to receiving information, you get it all the time. I mean, it could be you're
Exactly.
walking through the grocery store and all of a sudden somebody has something to tell you. We don't know why. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not. But numbers is an obvious way of receiving messages. We see them everywhere.
Exactly.
They're associated to everything. We see them on license plates. We see them on road signs. So they're
They're very revealing.
Right.
Okay. And they're reflective. And that's one of the things I wrote down. They've been really giving me notes and not really information along the way this week of things to gather for us to more fully connect with them on simple levels and on more complex levels, and even the mathematical levels, and also on sacred geometrical levels.
and spiritual.
And as we know,
Well,
yes, and spiritual.
Should we show?
Well, not just yet. I'm getting there. So what they told me was that they would guide me through what to share when. And so I'm going by what they're asking, how they're
Presenting.
presenting the information. Sorry, I've been so excited about this energy. And so we know that even Nikola Tesla told us that if we understand 369, that we would understand the key, we would have the keys to the universe. And that's really when we think of 333, when we think of those numbers, we think of them as highly spiritual numbers. And it's funny because we also think of things like we do things in threes, 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. We transform based upon these cycles of 9. And that's why even our clocks end at 9. And 59, 59 is the last 2 numbers you'll see on the clock for any time around the clock. The last time you won't see 969. We start over. So we see 959, and the number 5 represents humanity. Humanity has decided, has in the blueprint reality of the human collective consciousness, the number 5, which represents humanity, had 2 arms, 2 legs,
5 fingers,
and 5 fingers, 5 toes, 5-fingered beings. And so that 59 is an imprint in us that we have decided is the threshold, but it's also the number 9 is the threshold for us between physical and non-physical reality. That's our borderline, where we go start over the number 1 and we start fresh and new. We have decided as humans collective that 9 would be the threshold. So therefore we would be using that, and the Council of 9 would be assisting us in moving through these cycles for all of us. So it's also a 9-year cycle for me, but I wanted to say too that if you guys listen to Bashar, he talked about in 2016, everything will change. And I knew then there was going to be a major, like we all knew, but I felt it. I wrote it in my journals about everything will change. And then I realized this is the cycle for all of us from that time. We may have even, I'm getting goosebumps now, we may have even skipped timelines, actually, all of us. So from 2016 to now has been 9 years. So collectively on this planet, we have gone through our own 9-year cycle together. And where are we now in the world as we look around what's going on in the world from every corner of the globe? We realize that this is this 9-year cycle that we've come upon. And even the human, when we want to detoxify our system, we know it takes 3 days to get rid of something out of our system, typically 3 weeks for our physical mind to reprogram itself. And after 3 months, it's no longer, we have complete, now we are new every now, and that of course we understand that, moving through physical parallel realities moment by moment. However, that idea that after that 3-month time, and even 3 years, people say, they have completely transformed themselves. But today we're talking about the 369, that 9-year cycle. So if all of you think back as on our linear time as we create time, if you're looking back at, wow, where was I 3 days ago, 3 months ago? Where was I 3 years ago, 6 years ago, and 9 years ago? So what shifts and transformations have you made in this last 9 years as we create this moment together? So, and they also were showing me how each of us from the time that we're born go through these cycles every 3 years, every 6 years, every 9 years. Ourselves also is we have major transformations in our own physical growing up, if you will, at those intervals as well. So some of the very simple things that that we're going to show you in a moment are all the tools to help us more deeply connect in this 9 year to completing the cycle that you have come to complete. And again, we're talking about this last 9-year cycle for where are we now? Where are you now? And where are you ready? Like, where are you ready just to end this cycle, complete it, and begin the new one? And the Council of Nine is assisting us all. And how do we connect with that energy more is what they've been showing me through tools that I've learned through Bashar and that Dave and I have been utilizing all week. So I think, yes, I think one of the first things that we want to do is, I'm going to go to this and kind of jump to this idea of what the Council of Nine is, who they are, and that will kind of lay the blueprint for the energy for this. So the Council of Nine represents the energies of the 9 powers of life. The 9 powers of life are: 1, we perceive. So we perceive something. We all start with a perception.
And we all have the power to perceive something. So,
and I'll show you this. I'm working off of this list. So, and we'll talk about, if you guys want to get copies of these, but, so this is the list that I'm looking at. So you guys can see Dave has actually, helped me produce all of this. And we've also done printouts from, various Bashar events that we have purchased and handouts that I've acquired over the last 9 years. So that's the first step, that we have the ability to perceive. Upon that perception, we choose. So we perceive something. We perceive something based upon a particular belief system, and now we choose an act. We choose, what are we going to do with that perception? How do we feel about it? We play with it, we analyze it, we judge it. The next thing we're going to do is choose something. What are we going to choose based upon that perception? And the beauty of being a human is, and we get to go through this process, is that we get to perceive, and then we get to choose. We get to choose how we're going to move forward, if you will, on what we're perceiving. We get to choose, do we like the way we're perceiving this? Does it make me feel good? Does it not make me feel good? Is it something that is empowering, or am I perceiving it as a disempowering thought? That in that moment, that is a crucial deciding moment that a human gets to experience. We get to perceive something, and then we get to decide what to do with it, because we're the masters. We're the masters of limitation. We're the masters of our environment. Then we get to choose. What do I choose? How do I choose? What do I do? That choice is based upon what you perceive, what you care about. That choice is going to be based on what you believe is going to be, what you believe is going to benefit you, what you believe you can live with other people's perception of what you're doing. Everything you choose is what you perceive because of what you believe. So as we're making that choice, it's, what are we doing? How are we perceiving this moment? Are we perceiving this moment as, I can't do that, I can't follow my highest joy, I can't act the way I want to choose because of some other external thing that doesn't exist? Because you're the master. You're the one perceiving, and you're the one choosing. You even choose how another person's going to react. And when I say you, I will say right now, I want to say too, I will change talking from perspective, because now when I say you, they're saying you to all of us. And that's part of what channeling is. And that's part of what conscious channeling is now I'm like, okay, now I'm talking from their perspective, and because they're talking to me too, because I'm human too. So I got to perceive what this 9-year thing meant to me. I got to choose what it meant. Is it empowering? Do I feel good about it? How do I want to act? So as soon as we choose how we want to move forward on something. And again, we're choosing on the thing that we believe is going to benefit us. And that means even I'm going to not walk my talk. I'm not going to be the person that I want to be because I'm choosing to believe that what they think is more important than what I want. That's the power of mastering. We get to choose. You get to choose now how you're going to act. So that's the thing. Perceive. Now you get to choose. Now you get to act. You get to act based on now. So we all do this, right? So now the three first things here is we perceive, we choose, and we act. Okay. Sometimes that's kind of a chunk in its own.
And everyone has the ultimate power to decide how they want to respond to each of these powers in whichever way they want. So you can perceive something however you want. It is 100% up to you how you want to perceive it. You have 100% power to choose whatever you want. Now you might say you have these made up limitations of because of society or family or right or wrong, but you still have 100% ability to choose anything you want from that perception. And again, you have 100% control over how you want to act and respond.
And we don't even believe that sometimes. We don't even believe that we have the choice on how to act because we're saying, no, 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 no. I have to act this way because that's the way I've chosen, because that's what I perceive, because that's what I believe, but it's still just a belief. And you still get to perceive and choose how to act. And so there's that kind of that I'm feeling like they're showing me that three, you got that perceive, you choose, you act, and now what? You get to experience what you've chosen, what you've perceived, what you've chosen, and how you've acted. Now we get to experience that. We get to experience that in this plane of existence, this third three, right? Third dimension, right? We're in the third dimension, three. This is our first step, you guys, into that, and that moving through, and that's what they're helping us understand too, is that now you get to experience, but you get to experience in this dimension the way you get to experience things in the way nowhere else ever is and can. We're the bomb. Like we are the masters. People, beings look at us going, I don't know how they do it. How do they then have an experience of something they don't prefer because they chose to perceive and act simply for the experience and to show all that is, God, whatever you want to call it, how to experience itself in a new way. Know thyself. Every time we perceive and choose and act and have an experience, we get to know thyself. It's like now it's almost like the next three now we get to experience, we get to reflect, and we get to learn. So we have this experience. And now, whether it's exciting, whether it's horrible, whether it's now, or maybe you're having an experience because you're perceiving something and you're choosing to act on something that is an experience from what we understand as the past, but you're nonetheless, don't we experience it the same way? Don't you sort of like, once you're in the experience, the vibration of it, don't you act as if you were right there then a lot of times? So sometimes we have this experience. Well, now we get to decide, oh, I'm going to reflect on that experience. How did I perceive that experience? The way that I acted and the way that I chose to perceive and create this experience. Now I get to reflect on, what did it mean to me? How did I grow? What did I learn? How do I feel? Now that I'm reflecting on this, what feeling do I get in my chakra systems? And it brings up stuff. It brings up stuff because now we get we get to reflect on that experience, and then we get to then learn from it. Doesn't everyone say you can read, but you cannot learn something by simply seeing it in your mind? You can't experience it and learn from it the way we can here. All eyes are upon us. And that's the council that's what they're here to help us with, is to, okay, so I want to take just a moment, because I did, in my excitement, I didn't continue to explain who the council is. The council are interdimensional beings of a nature, and this is directly quoted from Bashar, interdimensional beings of a nature that actually explore the quality of perceiving, choosing, acting, etc. So they are literally beings that have, that's their nature. Everything and everyone and everywhere in every dimension, that is their being. The Council of Nine, that is their nature, to explore everything and everywhere that has to do with perception. It's an experience, it's an existence that we can't really even wrap our minds around. So they are the beings. And so when I say the council of nature comes to me or comes to us, or they are literally interdimensional beings they're exploring everything you perceive. They're exploring everything we choose. They're exploring everything we act on. They're exploring everything we experience, and then how we reflect and learn from that experience. And the next part of this is Saturn's rings frequencies. So Saturn's rings frequencies allow for the focusing and dissemination of these vibrations / frequencies of these 9 powers. The Saturn's rings, the vibrations and the frequencies of Saturn, we have all agreed that the frequencies allow us, they allow us in our system, in our solar system, to focus and disseminate these vibrations of these 9 powers. Like, I found that completely mind-blowing and fascinating, that these beings literally are each of these things, and they get to experience through each and every one of us every single thing we do. Can you imagine the bazillion things that we perceive and choose and act and experience and reflect and learn from every single day? Like, everything we do, they're experiencing it as perceiving, as experiencing. And I found that completely fascinating, which in this year of 9, that I felt the need, the love, the wanting to share that idea. So forgive me for not saying that to begin with, because that really sets the stage and for who these beings are and who they are and why they are and what they mean to us and why, and how they're connected to Saturn and how they're connected to those rings and how those frequencies allow us to, in our ascension process, disseminate these 9 powers.
And we all have guides and angels that help us along. This is just another category of higher conscious beings that are here to act as our guides, to help promote these ideas, to help us remember about these powers that we have as humans, not as, quasi-physical beings floating around in multi dimensions. This is available to us as physical beings right now, and Saturn is a reflection of those ideas that we've created to remind us subconsciously or without our awareness. I don't like to use subconsciously, because the levels of consciousness is another 9 thing.
Yes, that's a whole different kind of subject, but it's also very interwoven. Very.
But when we gaze up at the stars, we're now aware that there's a Saturn there, and sometimes we might be able to see the star, see the light of Saturn. But those frequencies are being fed to us to empower us with these 9 powers.
Exactly. Thank you for sharing that. And as we as we go through that next three, and I'm still seeing them in threes, I guess that's the way they're showing me again, that 333. After we've gone through that other next chunk of I'm experiencing now, I'm having this experience, I'm reflecting on it. Now, what have I learned from that? And to take what I've learned from that and not only have this interdimensional being that it absorbs itself in everything that is related to reflecting, and us reflecting is almost so, it's like really mind-boggling to me to think about an interdimensional being that gets to do that, or that has the capacity and the ability to do something like that. I think is just absolutely extraordinary. And yet they're showing us right here and now, but you guys are the ones that are doing it. You are doing it. Um, and you're doing it with us, for us, um, as if, and they say, and we've never not been here or with you, because we are part of what you've designed as your incomplete human earth solar experience. And from that, then we grow, they grow, everything expands. That is how all that is grows and expands through each and every one, each and every one of us, moving through each and every one of these powers that we have. These are our powers, and that they are doing this with us, and we are growing in order to expand all that is, and each other knowing thyself more fully, and and everything that is, they're saying that everything that we learn and grow from, everything, of course, everything grows from that, and from that we transcend. From that, all that is transcends. All that, everything that we do then after we grow, we transcend. And the most absolutely extraordinary power. Well, let's get back to transcend for a minute, because that's a big deal, you know. What does it mean to transcend? Transcend what? Transcending that belief system that allows us then to perceive something new in a new way. But the most powerful thing we have from all of that is to forget. And it seems like that would be the least power of the powers. But think about how powerful that is to forget. It's kind of like if you remembered everything that you ever learned, you probably, our physical brain couldn't really function. And we don't want to call it, like Dave said, you don't want to call it subconscious, because it's not down anywhere. It's out there. There's no, it's your consciousness is out there. There's nothing sub about it.
Well, not
Transcendence,
only that, but our subconscious is a higher frequency
yes,
than our physical brain awareness. So being aware that, the 9 levels of consciousness, that the subconscious is actually above our physical awareness consciousness.
exactly. It's kind of funny. It's
So
kind of the
it's not
basement to our,
it's not like hidden down below
right.
in low frequencies, it's a higher frequency. But an interesting thing about the whole forget thing is, as you redefine who you are using this process, which we all use all the time automatically anyway, the new you, who, let's just say, has healed a wound that you've felt that you had, starts to forget that they had the wound to begin with, because the new version of you never had the wound, never had
Exactly, you've
those
transcended
things. You've
now.
transcended it. So not only can you use the power to forget to re-perceive, choose, act, experience, reflect learn and grow, transcend, but you can use that power to only make the new you relevant. So you
Yes.
bring back in the old,
And that's the transcend and then
injury,
the
your
forget.
past life things, which are really not past, but the idea of being able to forget. And we do that now already. How many times do forget something that happened in your childhood because it's no longer relevant?
Or yesterday.
They could be good things, it could be bad things. They don't really define you in the moment. You don't need to know it. And that's why, you know, Bashar says they only know what they need to know in the moment. You'll always know what you need to know in that moment, not a moment before, not a moment after, because you can't remember everything as a physical being. You can't, otherwise you would just be all that is if you were aware of everything constantly. So you're forgetting the things that aren't relevant for the now moment. So that's a power that you're exercising all the time. And we could probably talk an hour of the different forms of forgetting.
Right. And that's the funny thing, you guys, is that is the biggest power of all, is to forget, because there is nowhere else that, and this is funny about the Council of Nine and these interdimensional beings, because for the forgetting part is kind of the magic of it all. Because we forget in a way that others no one else does. And able to, and it enables the Council of Nine to experience all of these experiences in a very unique way because of us. So for those of you that resonate with, well, I shouldn't say resonate, because these are literally the powers of our life. This is how everything we do, everything we choose, you can go up and down the line, but as soon as you forget, you can forget every direction too. So it's like you forgot that you've transcended and all the things that you went through. And now you can even perceive that event in a brand new way. You get to choose a new way to look at it. You get to choose a new way to act about it. Maybe something that used to bring a memory that was just so chokingly painful you couldn't even bear to think about it. And now you get to perceive it in a new way, and don't you automatically act in a new way? Then don't you have a new experience? Then you get to have that experience again from a completely new perspective. That same experience. Maybe it takes you 3 years to get past that, where now you can experience that act in a new way. And what did your reflections of that experience teach us? And then, so as we go through this cycle, and that's why they're saying it's the cycles of nine. And then it also goes right into the 9 levels of consciousness. So, and even that is like a whole nother aspect of, which I have right here, of what we are doing here. So this is a handout from the 9 levels of consciousness, and it kind of puts it in a little bit of perspective, in that these 9 levels of consciousness are specifically relevant to the physical reality experience. So if you want to we can start with 9 as the physical consciousness. But if we start up here, this is the oversoul. So at the oversoul level, that is where our multiple soul perspective of higher dimensions exists. And this is non-physical reality. And then we moving into the individual soul, which is our spirit. This is the spirit realm, the afterlife reality. Oh, and so the oversoul is at the 7th density. Now we're talking about densities. So the oversoul is within the 7th density. The individual soul, which is our spirit, which is the spirit realm in the afterlife, which is still non-physical reality, is the 6th density. So this is what we're doing as our consciousness moves. As we ascend, this is what we're doing, is we're moving through these levels of consciousness. The higher mind is the fifth density, parallel reality to each physical reality experience. So you begin to understand this is the quasi-physical area, our higher mind, and the parallel realities to each physical experience. So we begin to understand, we're talking about experiences. Now we really get into the quasiness of all of this, because now you're understanding that you're having these physical experiences, but you're having them on a quasi-physical level. Now you're beginning at that level of density. You're beginning to understand, oh, there's parallel realities, an infinite number of parallel realities um, along parallel to the physical reality experience. So that becomes just really a part of the higher mind experience. And then in fourth density, we're at the template reality, that quasi-physical reality, where that's where we build the blueprint for our physical reality. And that's kind of where we're moving through the understanding of connecting more with that level of changing our reality and becoming masters of limitation by understanding that. And then the higher third density is where the collective automatic mind and the individual mind reside. And that's where the collective agreements are made along with our individual themes. And after that, in the lower third density, in the ego area behavior, that's where our physical mind, our beliefs, our physical mind subconscious, which we talked about, subconscious, is our emotions, and the physical mind consciousness is our thoughts. That's the physical matter, where we begin to understand the physical matter is all in here, beliefs, emotions, and thoughts. So in interacting together are the Council of Nine, with the 9 levels of consciousness, experiencing all of these things through us every single time we do something. And it's as little as what you decided to have for breakfast today, as it is your higher levels of consciousness. Every single choice that we make is being experienced by these entities. It really is kind of mind-boggling.
And our job, so to speak, of our expansion of spiritual consciousness is taking those 9 levels, becoming aware of them, and connecting them more, being connected to all the levels. And by doing that, you're
raising your consciousness,
raising your consciousness, raising
Opening
your
it.
vibration. You're making more available to you that you never knew was available, because as your consciousness expands, you remember more of who you are and all the things available to you, and how to do it.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Mm.
So one of the things that I wanted to do, and we'll see how we doing on time.
48 minutes.
Okay, good. Okay, great. So I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee. I'll take a breath. If you want, hi Willow, thanks for hanging out with us. Just let us know if you want to say something. Yeah, go save me a shot and I'll take a breath. And if not, that's okay. Zervish, and I just throwing a little light language in there. Of course, when I see Phil Willow in the room, I break out in light language. One of the things I wanted to share with you, since you're here right now, Willow, because you got me thinking about and feeling dragons. One of the element, the color that is associated with the number 9 is gold, which I didn't know. So as you can see, we've got a few gold representations behind us. We've got the throne, also, reminding us of our mastery. And we've got, of course, the trident back there with the 3. But I have some very special crystals in this bag, and on here is a gold dragon pin. And I've showed this a few times over the years, but I grabbed this. I hadn't seen it. I haven't looked at it really in a long, long time. and I grabbed it. And because I've also been, if you've watched a few of the videos lately, I've been really into this dragon energy idea as well. So that's been one of my new experiences. But the color gold um helps connect us to that nine, the opening up, asking. It's like all of these are permission slips to help us open up more to this 9 levels of consciousness that we are already a part of, but to experience it all in a new way, to understand that those 9 powers are the keys to the kingdom, because they create everything. We create everything. They are the 9 powers that we are. We are those powers, and I get to experience it, the Council of Nine, and then through us, and then also with the amplification of the frequencies of those interdimensional beings through Saturn's rings, is a whole nother level of what we've decided together as a human collective consciousness to experience, because we've designed it all, the galaxies, the solar systems, all of it. So when I was being guided as to what to use for additional permission slips to become more in touch with that, I was being guided to other tools. And so I'm going to start with a couple of really simple ones really quick. So the day that got this download from the Council of Nine, I also got the word and the picture rose, and I didn't know why. I just wrote it in my journal. What I discovered in my researching these last couple of weeks is that there's 2 flowers that are associated with the number 9: the freesia flower, and the rose. So there I was, like, oh wow, and so I realized, oh, there's the reason I wrote down the rose, and I have a lot of connections to the rose and that idea. And so they also simply said, even just looking at those 2 flowers, having them in your home. I really was going to go buy some, and then we got a big winter storm here, so I wasn't able to go out to even look for them. But they said, just bring it into your awareness. And I have a lot of essential oils. And the funny thing is this last package, or one of the boxes that I have sitting out, that I had sitting out together, are rose and freesia in the box, sitting right next to each other. So another, it's just another synchronicity to let me know the council's with me, showing me simple stuff, you guys, that we can do. Really not, no, not really woo-woo, but if you're not into the whole mathematics and symbols, and a more down-to-earth approach is sense. Because we also, the Council of Nine, get to experience that through us as well. And one of the things that I had here was my Soul Flower Spirit Oracle, and I pulled the Rose card, and the Rose card is joy, symbolizes joy. Rose is comforting and soothing, infusing your heart and soul with gratitude and joy, and helping you to stay centered and loving toward yourself and others when it is needed the most. Rose reminds you to be open to the sweetness of life and supports your personal growth. And isn't that what we're talking about today? Personal growth, whatever the conditions surrounding you may be. What does Bashar always say? Circumstances don't matter, only your vibration matters. All of us, the more often we choose our vibration that we choose, that we prefer through joy, is a profound experience for everything. And there's a lot I've gone into about the rose itself. And I think that speaks a lot for today. And it was really funny about that, though, that I didn't know that. And the freesia, I didn't have, none of the card decks that I have with flowers have that. That have that in there. However, I did write Oh, where'd it go? Oh, well, maybe I'll come back to that. I'm like, oh, where did I write it? Anyway, and there was something about too, gosh, where did I write that? Sorry, guys. I had so many notes this week. I was like, where did I write about the flowers? But something else came something else I wrote down that Dave found out too, that there will be 9 meteor showers this year in 2025. The number 3 represents divine creation, such as the power of triads, past, present, future, or birth, life, and death. The number 6 represents harmony and balance. 9 represents completion and wholeness and is believed to be the key to unlocking higher dimensions. And there's a lot of other things. The speed of light
Oh, yeah.
equals 9.
When you add up all the digits of the speed of light, it equals 9.
No matter which version, you go by. The number 9 is associated with spiritual growth, wisdom, and completion. I also asked about I'm sorry, what?
9 months of pregnancy.
Oh, 9 months of pregnancy.
There's a lot of
A
9s.
lot of 9s. The another more earthly thing that some of you who enjoy the energy and the idea of crystals, several different crystals are associated with 9 as well. The red coral, which I think this is red coral, I'm pretty sure. And then we've got amethyst. So in here we have, this is an amethyst crystal skull. So amethyst is also one of them. And this is pretty cool. I was gifted from a dear friend, a grape jelly amethyst from Uruguay, which I thought was really, really cool. So, oh, this is absolutely gorgeous. Look at this, you guys. Wow.
I just bought grape jelly.
That is real. That's right. You did. Dave just bought some new grape jelly. But isn't that cool, you guys? I've never actually seen before, other than this, a grape jelly amethyst. And the other ones, are clear quartz crystal, which we have some gorgeous multifaceted clear quartz crystals. This is just one of them. Rose quartz, which I have several in here, including a rose quartz heart. Oh, here you go. What's this one called, Dave? What is the I always forget the name of that. The multiple facet.
Oh, phi.
The phi ratio
Phi.
crystal, phi
Yeah.
crystals. And
Vogel phi.
yes, a Vogel crystal. And then this is just one of my pieces of lapis. And so lapis lazuli is another one. So these are additional things that we can use as permission slips to more fully connect with these interdimensional beings, to experience more fully our power of our 9 powers, and how we actually create our reality by these 9 powers. And I think that most of us will agree too, that in that 2016, that's when I saw the train track split, if you will, if you want to use that analogy. And so one of the symbols, the sacred circuitry that we've received from Bashar, also given to us from the Yael, who were given to them from the Sirius star system. So the number 9 is received. Well, now, if you can see, we've got it up on the back wall here too. So because this whole year is number 9, and part of this idea of doing this webinar today was about how all of us can receive more information, more synchronicities, more abundance, more realizations by connecting deeper with the Council of 9, the number 9, the geometries of nine. We talked about we talked a little bit, Dave and I, about the geometries of nine. There's some tools that we can show you briefly as well. The number 9, and when I see this symbol for number 9 for receive, I feel as if I'm the antenna receiving, all of this information that we all have access to. We all have access to. So it's like I feel like it's all of us reaching out and being that antenna and receiving the realizations of the power that we already are, how we create our reality. And allowing this symbol to interact with you this whole year. And for those of you if you're new too, we also have on my website on the homepage currently are the sacred circuits for the day with the date added up. I've for all of you to look for that day, look at the symbol. What does it mean to you that day? How does it feel? What does it represent for you that day? What is it a message for you for that day? And I'm going to be expanding on these symbols a little bit more too. And also on our other channel, Open Contact TV, that focuses a lot more too on extraterrestrial open contact. But all of this is related and it's all connected. And that's why I also wanted to put it in combination today with my full circle of 9 years moving into my 10th year. And what have I received in the last 9 years, you guys, has been inexplicable. And let us know too. And in the comments, if you watch this, what have you received in the last 9-year cycle of your experience? And what do moving through the levels of consciousness, what does it mean to you? And how does this help you understand the structure of your own reality? It has helped me immensely. And so I'm excited, and I'm really excited. Thank you, Dave, for creating all this stuff for me and, doing all these printouts. And here are all 15 of the sacred circuits. And these are the 15 total that we have received thus far. We meaning human collective consciousness. The number 15 also equals 6. And he said, for now, these will be the only ones that we have received. The interesting thing about this is what I also didn't understand. What I found out later is one of his other circuitry, his enigmatic circuitry, which was developed based on the ancient Phoenician symbols. So this is also one of his handouts. And I didn't realize this until like this week. This is based on, 9 and moving through your reality, from the inner being through sight, sound, touch, and feeling are manifested the path, windows, and doors to the unknown, which always lead back to your inner being. So this amplifies all of these other tools that we're covering today. It communicates with portions of your consciousness, of our consciousness, in a way that is less likely to be interpreted with your rational personality. And what I didn't realize is that these that were given to us through Bashar were actually based upon ancient Phoenician symbols that already exist. And it's like talking to the deepest part of yourself. And at the center, is the reminder that this is where everything begins. It's in your center and comes back to, and like we're talking about with the cycles and the cycles of the powers, actually receiving the sentence just below the image. So in other words, every time you look at one of these symbols, you're receiving this affirmation, if you will. You're receiving this sentence below here. And I know that I should have done the arrows in a different color, but basically you start here, you go all the way down to the bottom, you work your way across, you come all the way back up, you come across, and you come back down to the center. And these are these are the phonetic symbols that represent the eye, the mouth, the hand, water, which is fluidity, the fence, which I see as like a ladder, a window, and the door. This represents the unknown. So every single time that we go through those 9 powers, every time we're moving through, and this whole time that we've been having this conversation today, all of us and all of you who watch are, well, you always are, we always are moving through these 9 levels of consciousness, but you're gaining clarity on these 9 levels and the powers that you have as we do this, how we move through the 9 levels of consciousness.
And let me also just mention
Oh, yes, please.
that this, which is the 9th symbol.
Oh, yes.
So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This also is the Hebrew
Yes.
9, the
Thank
tet,
you. What a great segue.
which
Tet.
in some what do I want to call it, like old Hebrew representations, which are also Phoenician and some other different languages, this is how they write the 9th letter of the alphabet, which is the tet.
I had no
And
idea.
we're going to show you.
And Dave reads and writes and speaks Hebrew, so he wow,
gonna show you the
that's really
actual-
great. So we'll show you. Is it this one?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the actual Hebrew number 9, and I'm gonna let Dave explain this because I'm gonna let him explain it.
And this is actually how it's written in the Torah itself, the Old Testament Bible. And if you see the 3 crowns, sometimes there's 4, sometimes there's 3. It depends on the context. And it's typically only written within the Torah itself, within the scrolls of the Torah. But 9 with 4 of those little crown things is also 5 humanity plus 4. But the 9th letter, which is a tet, which also represents the word tov, in this circuitry, this is the unknown, but the tet represents goodness.
Okay.
So
Interesting. So the only thing in the unknown
so
is goodness.
So you move through this, and sort of like how in the Bible it says, that on the 7th day God rested and he said everything was good. So it's sort of like that idea. You've gone through all the other things and you return to positivity, goodness.
And that's how as we're moving through, as we're doing this, we're also doing this in physical reality because we're using our eyes, our mouth, our hands, and then the water, because we're made of water. And then that higher, and then we're taking that ladder to the higher dimension, and we're looking through the window, and then we open up the door because this symbolizes the door, the triangle. So if you notice in a lot of extraterrestrial symbolism, spiritual symbolism, even in a lot of light codes that people draw, almost always include a form of the triangle in some way or another. It's always been a part of my, experience, I guess. And that in of itself, the door, why we made pyramids, all of that, the triangles, why there's triangles, there's so many, that's a whole nother experience. So when I first heard the council, and I was asking, well, what other things that what are other things that we can share with people to help open this idea up in our synapses in our brain and help us to understand the council, who they are, what they are, how they're working with us, and how that helps us through our own levels of consciousness. And the first symbol they said was the 9-pointed star. So I just had Dave print me out a 9-pointed star. And so that we can also use that. And all of a sudden, I just got this really weird rush of energy, you guys, because we see the symbol receive right here. I mean, my legs are literally like tingling, like, hi, yeah, and our legs are receivers too. So I'm looking at this receive symbol and then along with this 9-pointed star, and I don't know, I'm just kind of feeling something with the combination of them too. So part of the reason why we wanted to offer these symbols is for all of you guys to do, draw them, use them in your own way, whatever you're guided. And then Dave was inspired with that symbol to take this and the star and combine them and create this image with the number 9 is just another symbol, another permission slip for all of us to say, yes, I'm ready. I'm ready to be open. I'm ready to work with these interdimensional beings. I want to be more consciously aware of who I am and what I am, and that I am not just a physical body. The idea of the Trinity, the body, mind, spirit. And I wanted to show you guys too, the phonetic. So I forgot to show that to you. So with the Phoenician, the phonetic alphabet, here they are. So as you can see, this one's a little smaller, and this is, just common knowledge, but that's where I got the namings for each of those symbols. I got it from the Phoenician letters and simply just wrote them beneath the symbols. So just to show everybody the Phoenician alphabets, all of that, the Egyptian hieroglyphs, light codes that people are receiving, including myself for the last 10 years, or more, really, actually more. All of this are we as a human collective are forgetting. We're starting over. We're beginning again, perceiving things on a completely new level, completely new. And I just get the shiver sometimes when I look at this because I find this to be a very powerful symbol. So, give us a holler, if you guys, want these images available to you. And because Dave did make that one. But a lot of this stuff is available through purchasing at bashar.org. These came through events, and things like that. Some handouts they used to have on their handout page. I don't know if they still do anymore. And one of the other tools that I wanted to share with you guys, well, one of the things I wanted to say too was, and I think this was also this also from a Bashar event that we
Yes.
have? Okay. And this is the keys of ascension. And basically it goes through different chakras. And I can probably show you the top one here. But the writing, as you can see, is really light. I don't know if you guys will be able to read it, but what I'm concentrating on is here, the circle, the sphere. Because everything in creation automatically creates a sphere. Okay, let me take that back. Not everything in creation. That is not a true statement. We collectively, how do I explain that? If you have a bubble, it's a sphere, right? Everything, all of the planets automatically create spheres. That's the idea. Okay, that's the idea. According to this, the 9th chakra is all that is. Unconditional love, pure, undifferentiated light, and the color is silvery, clear, transparent light. And that's where I got the crystal.
And these are essentially 9 chakras.
And they're also associated with different
Shapes.
shapes. Yes, thank you.
3-dimensional shapes.
And one of them on here is the tesseract, which we'll get to in a moment. So the sense when you're in the energy of this ninth chakra, the sense is to know, to be, to do, to feel, to understand the top, the all, the is, the everything. That circle, just that circle. And actually, I forgot. I was gonna have Dave print out a big circle for me. But thank you. I have a lot of these in my drawings. I think a lot of us do. So when we're in that vibrational, ninth vibrational state of unconditional love, of that place of all that is, of transparent, pure silvery light, we know we are everything. And the reason I bring up the Tesseract is because before I found all of this and Bashar and I started dreaming of Tesseracts, and I didn't understand why. And according to this chart, the Tesseract is associated with the third eye, the sixth chakra. You are the vibration of knowledge and information. You are the Akashic records. You are all lifetimes, future and past. And that is how our higher consciousness, our higher self, the Trinity sees that the 369 is the vibration of past, present, and future. It is the vibration of seeing things, everything all at once. So this was my wake-up call in my dream to show me that that I am the Akashic records. You are all lifetimes, future and past. The doorways are open. So we're talking today about doorways. The doorways are open. Your sense. Oh, excuse me. The color is indigo. So we've got our lapis lazuli. So the color for that chakra is indigo blue, and which represents which is the deep, deep blue. And the sense is you have a sense of direction and you have a sense of orientation. So you have a sense of orientation and you have a sense of direction. So it was like my brain, my mind, my dreams, my guides, I just heard we have tesseract guides, we have circular guides, we have spheres as guides, we have every one of these shapes are a guide of ours. I don't know why that seems so surprising, but every one of those shapes we've designed from this place of our blueprint reality to interact with these geometrical, we talk about sacred geometry all the time. These geometrical shapes are also interdimensional beings, much like our interdimensional, the Council of Nine. They all work, I'm getting shivers again. They all work with us, every single one of these shapes. So maybe you resonate with the number 9. Maybe you are a birth path number 9. Maybe you've always wondered about number 9. Maybe you've always wondered, why is it significant? Who are the councils of 9? Why is 9 so significant? Why is the ninth dimension, and that's a different topic, but why is the ninth dimension so fascinating for us?
And this talks about that there are 9 chakras.
And I want to share something with you guys that
root, stomach, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown, and then 8 and 9 is the galactic,
and
then the all that is chakra.
That's funny because I wrote on the councils of 9 on my paper that there were actually 9 chakras. I wrote down that there were 9 chakras, and so that's pretty interesting. However, I saw the first one as this, the single point, and then I saw the crown as a white light. That's why I wrote a prism crystal white light.
So before the first chakra, and I think that this is in physical idea. Below that, you have an infinite plane, an infinite line, a single point, and then formlessness. And I think that that sort of represents more dimensionally the energies. So it starts with just
the
darkness, infinite in all directions.
infinite plane. No,
Then
yeah.
a single point, a birth of self-reflective awareness, one dimension. And then you have a line stretching forever, and then you have a plane, never-ending horizon. And then you get into the cube, where you are now in a physical
three-dimensional world. Got it. So
Uh,
that's how I saw
and that's the
that
root,
one.
first root chakra.
One of the tools that was given to us, and this was, and I think Dave's got all of the links to where we got all of this stuff, but but one of the tools was to create just picture a Rubik's cube in your mind, to create three sets of squares, so total of 9 squares. And in each of them, we are to, my drawing, put a color. So I'll show you so this is, Dave built it for me. These are really big just for ease of seeing on the screen. So basically blue, oh, where did I write it down? The color, where did my color stand for? Here it is. Wait, no, that's not it. Where did I write the colors again? Oh, here, right here. So to fill in no particular order. So in other words, you don't have to go linearly across, up and down. You can put these colors in any place you want on this box, on these sets of cubes. And I'll tell you what they're represented in just a moment. I haven't done mine yet. I chose to start with mine as a blue center because blue stands for spirit. I kind of felt like no matter what, I feel like my spirit is always the center. So I put my spirit, the beginning one, as my center. You can do them in any order you want, up any direction. So
this is a permission slip to give you a little more connection and clarity to the idea of 9, the Council of 9, the powers of 9, the synchronicities that can come to you using these powers.
Multiple layers of realizations and openings and dreams and abundance and whatever form that means to you. It is to amplify and you work with all of these other tools.
And this tool is 3 categories of 3 things.
So the categories are, I'm looking at it the wrong way, physicality, spirit, and mentality. And each of those colors we are to use red, blue, and green. And each of those colors represents that square. And again, you can place the colors anywhere you want. And the instruction was to, in each of the squares then, which I'm going to do one now. And so these, I just use markers. And then in the middle of this one, I'm going to put a symbol that for me represents my spirituality or my spirit and something like that. So originally I put these, like I started out with, this is what I used for the physicality, this is what I used for spirit, and this is what I used for mentality. And so we do this 3 times, one for each, and each one represents also the past, present, and future of each one of those things.
So you have 3 blue squares,
And
past spirit, present spirit, future spirit, and draw in whatever symbol you would recognize as those things in whatever order you might so happen to put them in.
And actually, I feel like right now, I'm just guided right now that when you just said that, Dave, just now, I thought, okay, my present spirit is like, this is how I feel, my present spirit. And I was not expecting. I just drew a circle. Not a very good one, but I just drew a circle. Like that's the first thing that came to me when I thought of what is my spirit present? Maybe it's what I want my spirit present to be. So that's what I used for that. So that's the guidance for that.
And the instructions are to
Um,
use your own
oh, and
intuition,
it can be an animal, it could be
anything,
and anything, a symbol, a
crystal.
crystal, a flower, a whatever those categories may mean to you.
And you don't even have to draw it. You could imagine it. You could make a
And
physical
again,
thing.
that's
You
I'm
could,
glad you said that too,
you could
Dave.
take 9 pieces of paper and mix
And
them
mix
all
them
up.
all up. And actually, he even said that you don't even have to draw it. If you could even do it mentally, maybe you're just sitting around and you want to mentally do the exercise. We're quantum beings. So, um, I'm not going to sit here and do this. This is something that like on your homework. Um, if you're excited to do so, to create your own symbolism, in each of these squares using those 3 colors and what that means. And this was from was it the Council of Nine Codex?
Yes.
The Council of Nine Codex event. Again, we'll do our best to put the links if we have them. But you can find all of these on bashar.org. So I mean, I would just say just go there. But so that was this exercise was inspired from that event, and I felt it was important to talk about with the 9 today and for all year, and to do this as many a times as you want. And the other thing that I actually did a really teeny tiny diagram up there with a little and I just filled in some with symbols for me, just to kind of get the feel of it. And it says, any picture you choose, and it is the key to opening doors to new things. It really is that simple and that complex. It is the key to opening doors to new things. And isn't that what we're all doing now? We're opening doors to new things. I wanted to see if there was something in this I wanted to share as well. So I think that this is important. I pulled this card in this this is the Language of Flowers Oracle, and I pulled the Rose card. So I want you guys to take a look at it really quick because it feels very regal, and there's 3 windows on both levels, 3 and 3. The number's 15, which equals 6, and it's devotion. So the rose itself symbolizes devotion in this oracle. And the message, and this is the red rose specifically, the message in the book is education. This card stands for education. And isn't that what today's all about? It's about higher consciousness education. Actually, I have a I have a YouTube channel that I haven't really put much on there, of higher consciousness education. So anyway, the meaning is the lessons are here to be learned. So try looking at how you can use them in order to model a new path or a final situation, or find a solution. These letters are really tiny. Courage and strength are both indicated and will be available. Spiritual learning and a deeper connection with nature. And that was a big part of this. With nature through creative activities is shown, and you may find that ideas, inspirations, and answers are illuminated for you while participating in joint and group events and experiences, kind of like this one. So whether you're in the room or not, whenever you see this, whenever you watch it, this is a group experience. But remember, if you have the opportunity to step out of your comfort zone and go to an event, go to something out of your comfort zone, to participate in joint ventures and group activities. And again, this is for me as well. And I had not read this card until just now because I wanted to be just as surprised, by the reading. And I also see a fountain in the middle, which seems very significant to me as well. A fountain of knowledge, a fountain of wealth, a fountain of abundance, devotion. That's how I feel when we are devoting ourselves to our spiritual practices, whatever they are. Is it going for a walk? Do you like crystals? Part of, honest to God, you guys, part of my spiritual devotion every morning is coffee. Like, I'm beyond grateful, you know? This is part of my spiritual devotion. Maybe for someone it's tea, maybe it's going out for a run. I love being out in nature. We love being out in nature as often as possible. I'm actually seeing the sunshine. The snow's starting to melt a little bit. It's really cold here still. We're in central Alabama, if you're new to the channel. And um, so spending as much time looking out the windows, looking at nature. But this idea of roses and flowers, I wanted to remind all of you too that, no matter where you are, and even if it's cold, my sister told me yesterday that she was going to start buying flowers for herself every time she went to the grocery store. And I was reminded about that because Dave used to do the same thing. We always used to buy flowers when we went to the grocery store. And oddly, the grocery stores that we have here that are right in our main town don't sell flowers. So it's kind of funny, but so buy yourself flowers this year. Buy yourself once, whatever you can do, whatever you can afford. Maybe you can go outside and spend more time in the flowers. This is how I've connected with everything. In the last 9 years, I started channeling, I started speaking light languages all in outside. Every one of these things is a tool and gives us a permission slip for us to start new every moment and to understand that you can go through these cycles and we will forget. We will forget. Because we have to forget in order to start again. We have to. One of the things that I was guided to do as well, which I just remembered, was they also showed me to simply use the 369, and I chose to do it this way. You can write them any way you want because it's your boxes. So, but I did it this way because
You're the master of your own.
exactly, you're the master of your own boxes. So anyway, I look at this as 369. Any direction, I can see this in 369. And except I realize that I don't have a 369 this way. Oh, but that's because I just chose to do it this way. But again, whatever resonates with you. But I was also told by the council that this, even just writing these numbers in the boxes in whatever order you decide, is it's an action of punctuation, they just said, of entering your realities in a new way, opening new doors, opening new windows, to interact with the powers of 9 and your levels of our levels of consciousness, to interact with all of this in a whole new way. So as we move through this 2025, and again, coming this 9-year cycle that we've come, everything will change starting in 2016. And and how for all of us, this is, I really feel like this, that oh, what was that we heard the other day about the splitting of the earths? And now we were just talking about it, about the splitting of the earths in 26, wasn't it
So in
2016?
2016, scientists discovered the first Earth-like planet orbiting one of the nearest stars. And that was the symbolic representation of the idea of the Earth's splitting into two realities. You now have two different realities. Shortly after that, they found 7 more, which now adds up to 9. That represents 9 different Earth realities splitting, and we're now getting to choose which one we want to be on. And I think, I don't remember if it was 54 or 55. They found like 50 some
Oh, that's right.
Earth-like planets.
But wasn't it, wait a minute. Wait, Okay, for some reason I thought the whole total also equaled 9, but I could be wrong.
The new total didn't equal 9.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. So, also I was reminded that there are more than 9 powers, but these are the 9 that are these 9 are relevant to physical reality only. Only.
So it's been about an hour and a half.
I think we're
Do you want to say goodbye with the live stream, and then we could chat
sure, yeah, we can, yeah, if you guys, if you guys want to chat, we can keep it open. If not, that's fine. And our puppy's calling too, so um, but I was just looking through my notes to see if there was anything specifically that I didn't like touch on, that felt important. Oh, that's what it was. I remember now. I knew there was something important. So on this 369 and on when you do your chart, your 9 color chart. Oh, God, I just got another chill, you guys. Ask to understand the structure of the universe. So as you're drawing it, whether you're looking at it, when you use it for meditation, whether you use any of this video, stop it, whatever you need to do, ask in that moment to show you, to see the universe, the structure of the universe. Ask to see the structure of the universe, as we're creating these, and anytime you use them. And the same goes for anything that we've shared here, any light codes, which actually this one, I this one I wrote on the 1st of January of this year. The date equals 11. And the Council of 9 was exploring the idea of number 9 being the border of physical reality in many senses for us. And these are just some of the images that came through. But with any of my light codes, and the idea is to basically do the same thing. Ask for what you're looking for. Ask, even if it's just general. I need clarity. I need more love. I need excitement. I need to see my joy. I need to be more aware of opportunities for joy. I want to open myself up to do new doors and windows and experiences and people. Or maybe you need quiet. Maybe you need a place of quiet and respite. Maybe that's the new door to take care of yourself in a new way. And how you interact with you is how you're going to create your reality based upon each and every time you perceive, you choose, you act, you experience, and then you reflect, you learn and grow from it, and growing, and then transcending, and then saying, okay, I got it. And maybe it'll come around again. That's okay, because you're still going to transcend a different way. You can't go this way. You can only go this way. That is, we're moving out of this 3rd density. As we saw from the levels of the chart and the densities and where we are in our consciousness based upon these densities. This is what we are invited to more completely understand, is where we are in our consciousness on that level. But understand, you guys, that's just what you're focusing on. You're this all the time. All the time. We are always doing this. We're always there. Our oversouls always exist. Our oversouls and their souls from those oversouls always exist. And so on, and so on, and so on, as someone said.
So how could we expand and learn more about ourselves?
And how can we help you guys expand and learn more about yourselves? And do you like this kind of interaction, and does it help expand your awareness of you and your universe? And when I first came across this stuff, you guys, I can't explain it. I started, as maybe a few of you seen already, my spiritual book, my Bashar book, and the very first things I wrote in here were the sacred circuits. Basically, the second page, third page, my first page was that I had a dream that I was an oracle of Delphi. That was the dream I had. And that was in 2008. And I did not touch this book again for like 3 years until I woke up on 11/11/11, and I started the next page because I found Bashar. And I found out 11/11 and what it means, and what maybe it reflects to me as a light worker. And the next pages in this book are every one of the sacred circuits. They're in pencil, so and my book, I've showed it so many times, the pages are starting to get a little, but the sacred circuits are what I started with. And as you can see, I'm still using them, but what they gave me in that 9-year cycle has been
Transforming.
exactly. And
Transformation.
I have forgotten so many of the steps along the way, but yet I have transformed from every single one of them, and so anyway, just a reminder to all of us, whether it's the simple ways of connecting with this energy, these ideas, the powers that are you are the powers of 9. You are.
So thank you everybody for watching Wendy these 9 years.
Yes, that's okay. I'm so grateful for every private session, every video you've ever watched, every comment, every indication of communication that we've had together. I cannot begin to tell you how grateful and transcending it has been for me.
And
And
if you'd like to contact Wendy, go to languagesoflights.com.
and there's our puppy. So we'll
sign off
sign off for
live
now.
stream, but we're
If
gonna keep
anybody
it
wants to
open.
stay in Zoom, or if maybe you're out there watching and you don't want to be, if you want to hop in, you can still access the link, I believe, right, Dave? Can you still? Maybe? I don't
might
know.
not be able to.
Not sure if the link's still open, so for the Zoom room. But anyway, thank you all of you out there too who have stopped in, shared, commented, who will watch this in another now moment. That now moment is always a perfect moment for you. Liato kismia shara shi anuko antobe esebes mashe bahana kaniana kojindisi samasopahi. Naju kwa mahate ohoa koshino kwa kiatashe. Onya kwa te ashono haya. Nelia sushi. Milia tova shona haya. Senai. Miasovashe. Alakati asono tove ismasa. And thank you, my partner in spirituality and all things, all things. Thank you for your love, your support, and your interaction. Yeah, I love you guys.